Hey, welcome to the Actor's Career Compass, where we give actionable, bite-sized tips to help you navigate your acting career. I'm your host, Martin Benson, and today we'll be talking about how to negotiate your pay as an actor. Now, this is a complex topic because there's a lot of moving parts, but since a listener of this podcast specifically asked me to answer it and do a podcast about it, here it is. If you have a question you'd like me to answer on this podcast, don't hesitate to email me, martin@cityheadshots.com, because great questions make for great podcast episodes. So, how do you go about negotiating your pay as an actor? Well, the first and most important part of negotiation is understanding your bargaining power. If you're still very new, casting directors and filmmakers know that, and they are likely going to be able to find someone else who is just as good or better than you for the project without having to search too far. So you will have less bargaining power. Now, on the other hand, if you're very experienced and you're a perfect fit for the role, then you're going to have more bargaining power and you can ask for more in pay. So for new actors, I highly recommend not worrying about getting paid more until you've got at least 3 to 5 speaking credits. Do everything that you can to get those initial speaking credits and some footage for your reel, and to make some connections and meet people while you're on set or doing auditions, etc., because those things are going to be worth a lot more than the money you might make at the beginning. Most actors actually work for free or extremely low pay on their first few projects just to get those initial things taken care of. And then that makes it easier to get an agent, and then they can much more easily negotiate their pay later on. Now, all that said, here are a few things you can try doing to increase the rate that you're being paid, again, once you've taken care of those first few steps. First, do some research. Figure out what people typically get paid for whatever role it is that you've been offered, right? If a certain rate is common for the couple of lines that you have or the much bigger part that you have, then obviously you should know that, because you don't want to just give a number out of left field, right? You don't want to be underpaid, but when you come back to them asking for a higher rate, you don't want them to be like, what the heck are you thinking, right? So it should be somewhat based in reality. So you should spend just a little bit of time doing some research. Next, you want to be super duper professional, okay? The more professional you are, as in showing up early, wearing appropriate clothes for the character that you're playing in the audition, writing your emails to them with proper grammar, responding to emails and messages very quickly. Those are all things that are going to go a long way in helping you negotiate, because so many people are not professional that you'll just stand out and they'll assume that you're a higher caliber person than all the other actors that they might be considering. They might just want to work with you for that, basically because they know that you'll be reliable, you'll show up on time, you'll treat everyone on their set with respect, all of that. Right? So those are important things to get across right away. Next thing, you want to express excitement for the project, showing that you're enthusiastic and talking about why you're so interested in this project specifically. That's going to cement in their minds that you're a better choice for the role than other actors who don't really seem to care as much. And remember, negotiation is all about demonstrating that you are the best possible person for the position, meaning that they'll be willing to pay more to have you over everyone else. And part of that is showing them how excited you are to take on this role and why. Next thing, ask for it. Okay, so it's time to ask them, okay? This is where all the nerves come in. Oh, OMG, should I even ask? Will they automatically cut me off from the role and say, we don't need someone like you to ask about how much you're being paid? Well, you need to keep in mind, first off, that there is always a chance that they'll say no to you. But the chance that they're going to outright cut you off just for asking for a higher rate is extremely low. right? They usually expect actors to negotiate pay, especially if it's for a slightly larger role. So here's something that you can say, a script, so to speak, right? Hey, thanks so much for offering me the role. I'm really excited about working with you guys. Now, I've had a chance to take a look at the compensation, and based on some research that I did, and of course the previous projects I've done and all the skills that I'd be bringing to the project, I was just hoping that maybe we could discuss adjusting the rate to X. I think that rate would be more in line with the value that I feel like I'd be bringing to the project. Is this something that we can talk about? Right? So something like that is just going to feel natural, and you're not just outright saying, hey, I'd like to demand more money. You're saying, is it cool if we talk about this? And if they're a normal person, they'll say, well, what were you thinking? Or if you already said the number, they'll say, well, it's something that we do have to take into consideration. I may have to talk with somebody else, but we can definitely figure that out. Or they might say, yeah, I mean, we can definitely discuss some of that. So based on what we're working with, I know that you want this amount, but we're trying to stick within a particular budget. Is it possible to do this amount, right? And essentially at this point, it's just a matter of some back and forth. But again, at least you've brought up the compensation as an issue, and now you've gotten through sort of the scary part of bringing it up, right? And that's the part that's most difficult. Once it's negotiating and stuff, that's a little bit easier. It feels like you're both on the same page, just trying to come to an agreement. Now, I do recommend being flexible with what you're open to accepting. For instance, if a production just doesn't have the money to pay you more, perhaps they would be open to giving you a bigger credit, or like crediting you sooner, like in the front opening credits of the film, or maybe giving you additional allowance for buying your own separate food or something, or even having your own personal production assistant who can help you out, a PA, right? Perks like that, they can sometimes make up for lower pay. Obviously, it's up to you what you're willing to accept. Now, last thing is, you do need to be okay with walking away, okay? So no negotiation is going to work if you absolutely need the job or you're desperate for it. So I recommend that you believe in yourself enough to say, well, if I got offered this great role one time, I can do it again. So I'm okay if this one doesn't work out. Because that willingness to say, I'm sorry, I really don't think that this is going to work out at that rate, if they're not going to compensate you more, is extremely powerful. It is difficult for them to find other actors once they've already offered a role to you. It's not impossible. And it's not like, really, really hard, but it does take some additional work. And so in some cases, it's easier for them to just say, yes, we'll pay you a little bit more, right? Now, if you do walk away, own it and feel good about yourself. Don't get down on yourself and start thinking, oh, I wish I'd taken that job. That was a mistake. The fact is, there's always going to be more opportunities if you stay confident and positive. All right, so beyond the process and the steps that I just outlined before, there are two other things that you can just do generally, not specific to any one role, that can help you command higher rates, okay? Number one is to build very specific talents and skills. So knowing things like how to play an instrument really well, or other specialized skills that fewer people know how to do, like juggling or whatever, can instantly give you a little bit more bargaining power, as long as those skills are obviously relevant to the production. So think about the kinds of characters that you most enjoy playing and consider what types of skills could make you more valuable and help you stand out to casting directors. Like if you love playing action type of characters, then maybe learn stage combat, right? Now, the second tip here is build personal connections. Now, I've talked about this before in my emails and in the podcast, but it's entirely possible to get offered roles directly if you know one of the higher-ups in the production. And that's why it pays to start building networks, like relationships with people now. It makes negotiating a higher rate way, way easier, and opportunities are just going to open up to you a lot more often. Now, before we go on, let me briefly talk about my course called The Practical Performer. This course is all about how to get auditions for major productions without an agent. And it focuses specifically on networking and building those kinds of relationships. I share shortcuts, hacks, and industry strategies that are going to let you bypass the casting process and be taken seriously by bigger people in the industry, and obviously allow you to negotiate higher rates so that you start getting auditions for major roles without needing an agent, and a lot faster than you might think possible. So if you'd like to learn more about The Practical Performer, send me an email at martin@cityheadshots.com. Again, that's martin@CITY headshots with an S, martin@cityheadshots.com. Just tell me why you're interested in the course, and I'll share more info about how you can join. Now, of course, negotiation isn't something that you need to do yourself all the time, because you can get a great agent and then they'll take care of most of that for you. But I still think that it's good to get experience negotiating so that you feel comfortable with it and you build that skill. It's going to be very important in getting future agents and other people on your team who you're going to be working with as you continue growing your career, knowing how to negotiate with them and make sure that they're working properly with you. That's all I have for you today. Thanks for listening. If you'd like more great tips like these, sign up for my newsletter. Every week, I send out actionable, bite-sized tips to help you grow your acting career and improve your technique. You can check out actorsuccesscoach.com and just enter your name and email, and you'll stay up to date with all the latest and best industry hacks and secrets that I share. Thanks so much, and I will see you soon.